Streetcar named Desire as a play and as a performance. It's a very difficult play. One should be extremely courageous to be able to touch that play and even think of performing it in a modern context, simply because we have moved away from the general understanding of the 5-act play and the 2.5-hour production. In the first place, for someone to do that kind of work and in a very short span of time, it needs enormous amount of courage and also skill. When you do a play like Streetcar Named Desires, you sort of become very obsessed with the play. It's that kind of a play and the world that it has. So to have even thought of performing and performed it itself is a matter of great work. There's no doubt about that.
When I first read the play, the first thing that drew me in was the fact that the characters were so human. Tennessee Williams has portrayed that so beautifully, and I wanted to put that up on stage. The characters are flawed, the characters are fearful, and they are just trying to survive. And that makes them human, their mistakes and their fears, and the way they survive in spite of it and despite of it, masking those fears, hiding from those fears, letting themselves see where it takes them. That is essentially how we as human beings respond to fear. That's how it shapes our response, to those fears, and how we decide to survive despite of it. In MCC, we do not go for realistic sets. We use a lot of minimalist stuff, and symbolically we show certain sets or certain props. And I was very adamant that I needed a realistic set because the play demanded it, It is a very set-heavy play, and getting those sets and getting the props, so that is something that was very challenging, which my assistant director and sets and props head, Rachel, she really managed that.
When I first got the script, I thought the play was so ridiculous. There was no point, no storyline, nothing. I didn't understand one word, except that people were drinking, smoking, and sleeping together. And for Blanche slept with many men.
Oh.
That is what I got from the script. And then when I started understanding it is when you, the director, started putting everything together, working scene by scene. And when I saw the direction and people's dialogues, more than reading, for me, when I see it, I grasp it more. So when I started doing that, I was like, okay, it is not only that, there is something more. So I don't know the story behind this. I've never watched Streetcar before or anything. I don't even know. I'm not even an English student by background, no. So it was completely different, new, and everything. So once everything was falling into place, and then I got a deeper vision, deeper knowledge on the storyline and everything. For sets and props, we really needed the...
Yeah.
When we imagined and did, the cast members forgot. And if you obviously didn't forget, other people forgot the placement of it and they walked over and everything. When we brought the set, like we substituted work, when we brought the working props, everything went pucka. So like for a play like this, we definitely need at least working props to practice with.
I think you need creativity more than finance. As in, you don't need to buy every prop. You have to make sure the audience sees the prop as what we need to be, and we don't need the exact item itself. So I think creatively thinking in the direction and using best use of the resources was fun.
We moved on from very realistic plays to very symbolic minimalist plays, and to come back to realistic production, we needed a realistic stage setup, and this first room, second room, then the bathroom, curtain in between, all the chairs and tables and footstools and the bed on which Stella is sleeping, all of those things has to be realistic, and the mess in the house also has to be realistic. And it's not just realistic there, it's also indicating something about the mood or the tendencies of those characters at that time. So in many ways, and the room also, when Mitch comes in, through the dialogue, the room has to become dark also. And so many aspects you can see, setting becomes very important. So the most important person, more than the director, more than the actors, becomes the stage manager. There's no doubt about it, because the stage manager is the one who knows that the story is somehow, infused into the very existence of things on it. And Rachel's job there becomes so important, and that forms the very backbone of the production.
The warm-up sessions. You were, Divya as a director, you gave a lot of different ideas. The ball throwing, and then like with the sentence, with the dialogue, you have to, with the emotion, the practice was for emotion, dialogue and the action.
Yeah.
Everything together. That one was like really unique and it was nice.
Word of truth in it, and if I
Honey,
had
I told you I checked on these stories. The trouble with them, Blanche, was that.
It's okay, don't.
The most challenging part was I don't like Stanley, so I don't like what he's doing. So, but then Stanley likes what he's doing, so I should make me seem like I should make myself seem like I like what I'm doing, while I'm actually not. So that was the tricky part. So at some point I just have to on stage like all the things that Stanley does, intimidating others and being a bad person. Stanley likes to be a bad person and I don't. So I guess Stanley is the most free-spirited guy in the play because everybody else had a little composure to keep up to. And Rachel, I should make a mention of that now because she was in charge of sets and props. And I troubled her a lot because Stanley scared it and ended it. I had to break down a lot of things, and sometimes I break the wrong stuff, pick the wrong thing because Stanley can do it. So as Stanley, I was just being a very problematic person for sets and props. So I just gave sets and props a hard time. Even when Stanley is a very dislikable character, Wesley sir told me, and Divya also helped me understand how Stanley has a point. He has a happy family with his wife, and there's one person ruining it. So, and that is not a nice person in Stanley's terms. So, he responds the way that he thinks is right for him. So, Stanley has his own difference, it's just not acceptable by many of us. So, that is one takeaway for me personally. Do not judge people, and everybody might have their own justice. Everybody is a hero in their own story. So Stanley is a hero in his own story.
Real life Nikki is not strict. She's goofy but konjam responsible. And I feel like Nikita is a bit assertive. But Stella here is like very naive, very playful. I want the audience to feel, not to be like Stella.
Playing Blanche was fun and challenging, to be honest. Fun because Blanche is this very dramatic, very complex character. Trying to bring that out on stage was like, and working on it, working with the script and trying to find characteristics that would bring out that complexity on stage. That was really cool and challenging because, like I said, she's a very complex character, a lot of emotions, she's just very human, and she makes a lot of mistakes. So it's very easy to portray her as annoying and very easy to portray her as a one-dimensional character when she actually is not. So trying to portray that complexity is what made it very challenging for me. So that's how playing Blanche was. The challenging part about bringing the Blanche in me out was that I got annoyed with her so many times. Like when I read the script, I'm like, what the heck? Why do you do that? Why are you so prejudiced? And why are you so opinionated when you know she herself has gone the wrong way and she tries to control Stella. So all of those little things that made me as an actor hate her or dislike her, transcending from that and like really getting into her character and understanding her for whatever she went through and her struggles and trials, that was the most challenging part of bringing the Blanche out in me.
I think playing Mitch was definitely hard, but also fun. I think the most challenging part would be the romantic side of Mitch, because personally I'm not a romantic person, so being all lovey-dovey and so madly in love with Blanche in scene 2 was a bit challenging, to say the least. Honestly, I've just read the play in my UG, and so I did not watch the movie or any other adaptation, so I do not know how exactly others portrayed Mitch. I just did what I thought was best. I think I want the audience to fall in love with Mitch in scene 2. I want them to ship Mitch and Blanche so hard in scene 2 and just completely hatred in scene 4. Yeah, that's what I want.
When I'm watching the production, I'm not watching the production as much as I'm watching the audience. I've been watching the audience mostly. And this is the audience who, in many other productions perhaps, hoot and howl and make cat calls. This is the audience that you see in complete silence. In complete silence, watching with bated breath, because the stories of each character were also their own stories. And you could see that amount of, morbid fear is stuck in them. That's very Aristotelian to look at.
That in the before the day, when the rehearsals were happening, and the performance was totally different, and the Divya's acting and other people's acting was really wonderful, and the sets and props importantly that made the show. So yeah, it was really wonderful.
I can feel that you have put a lot of efforts on the prop that you have used, and yeah, I felt that it's a lot of congested space, so it created a site of disturbance to me. Props disturbed me internally. So about the direction of the play, so it's very great. I would like to appreciate Divya. Uh, like it has a essence of what it actually want to say, the context of what it actually want to say. So that's it. Thank you.
In the history of theatre in Mississippi, the play Streetcar Named Desire has a very important role, and you will read that in the 1981 College magazine. And I think in that line, this production very much comes closer to be a very important milestone in the history of theatre in Mississippi because of the conditions under which the performance was done, the kind of audience members that were there and who had received the play in such a manner, and the actors and all the other stage managers set up everything, giving us an all-round perspective about theatre, art, literature, and the power of like-minded people coming together to create something in this manner. So in that sense, this is a very, very important moment in the history of theatre in Mississippi.